Next matter is State versus, did we take care of Tracy Phillips?
No, Your Honor, we have not.
All right. Counsel, that reflects a summons. Does your file reflect a service? Finds Mr. Phillips is not here. 9 o'clock docket, it's 12.
It does, Your Honor. The return on the summons that I have in my file would appear to indicate residential service on a third party, seemingly a roommate, back in June.
All right, I'm going to issue a warrant, not a bench warrant, but a warrant for, as there's already been an attempt to get service. It's been unsuccessful. Perhaps it was successful and blown off, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to set bond at 1,000 cash or surety.
TR 3395, State of Kansas versus Tracy Lynn Phillips. Jared Regier for the state. The defendant, Miss Phillips, appears in person and pro se. Let's see. September 4th, the defendant failed to appear. Miss Phillips, I trust you posted that $1,000 cash or surety bond.
Well, yes, I didn't have a choice.
Right. Well, you could have stayed in jail, but that's not a very good choice. All right. We are showing in count one that you are driving. The state's alleging you are driving without a tag or an expired tag, November 8th of 23. And then that the vehicle not only had an expired tag, but a plate was on there that wasn't assigned to it.
And Your Honor.
Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving into one of the most chaotic courtroom showdowns you've seen in a while. We're tracking Tracy Phillips, a pro-se defendant, or as some might say, a sovereign citizen, who's no stranger to drama. From missed appearances to claims that stretch the limits of reality, today's case has it all. Traffic violations, identity debates, and some serious courtroom tension. We're going to break down each twist, each interaction, and reveal exactly why this isn't your typical traffic case. Stay tuned, because things get wild, and you won't want to miss a second of this trial.
That was filed June 12th of 2024. And that, the official charging document that you're on today, alleges in count one that you were on November 8th, 2023, in Butler County, operating a motor vehicle on a highway of this state while displayed was a license plate or registration decal other than the one assigned. As charged, this is an unclassified misdemeanor, and it carries a fine up to $2,500 and a sentence of 30 days to 6 months. Failure to register, count two, was dismissed by the state on June 11, 2024. Then in count three, you're accused of operating that vehicle without insurance or at least being able to provide proof. That is as charged, a B non-person misdemeanor. If convicted, there is a $300 fine up to $1,000 and up to 6 months in the county jail. Count four alleges that you apparently moved from the address given when you applied for and received your Kansas driver's license, and you failed to notify the Division of Motor Vehicles of the new address within 10 days after moving. This charge is an unclassified misdemeanor, which typically carries a fine up to $500 and a possible sentence up to 30 days. I don't know what your history is. I don't know if
that should have also been dropped because I brought that in. I did that over the internet.
I'm sorry, what did you bring in?
I dropped that. Oh, I did that over the internet. My change of address, and had brought that in. The date that was on my actual ticket that the officer gave me, I came in on that date. There was no court date. I brought in that change of address then.
Are you going to want an attorney to represent you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, are you going to be able to hire an attorney, or do you need to apply for counsel?
I can try and hire an attorney.
You think you have the means to do so? Okay, well, if you don't, please get an application. You might take an application with you in case you don't. Like maybe you get out there and you find out that they're more expensive than you thought or something like.
Right off the bat, notice the judge isn't messing around. Even with partial service and some ambiguity about whether Tracy Phillips ignored the court or simply wasn't served, a warrant is issued. This sets the tone. The court expects accountability. For viewers, this is a key lesson in how seriously the justice system takes even what might seem like minor procedural oversights. The judge balances fairness with authority, offering the benefit of the doubt, but drawing a hard line. $1,000 cash bond is no joke. Already, the tension is built.
She's pro se.
Okay. We are on the record in 23 TR 3395, State of Kansas versus Tracy Lynn Phillips. Jared Regier for the state. Defendant Tracy Phillips appears in person and pro se. Miss Phillips, this is, of course, not your first appearance. That was back September 4th, and you failed to appear at that hearing. Then you were here January 8th, and you wanted to hire an attorney. You were informed if you were able to hire, you needed to fill out an application, which apparently you did not do.
Not the public defender, no.
So how do you want to proceed on these 4 traffic charges: driving without tag, driving without tag displayed, driving without insurance, and driving without changing your address or phone or no?
Yeah, I changed my address. I wasn't driving this vehicle. I mean, I drive a company truck.
All right, so you're pleading not guilty. You want this set
Yes,
for
ma'am.
trial?
Yes, I do.
And are you going to have an attorney represent you?
I'm going to try to. I'm trying to find an attorney.
Okay, but you don't want to apply for court appointed, is that right?
No, I don't. Last one threw me under the bus. I prefer not to do that.
Okay, we're going to go to trial at 1:30 on, what's your next trial date, Jen?
May 14th.
May 14th at 1:30. You must be back here. You can either be in person or by Zoom, May 13th or May 14th at 1:30.
Okay.
But with or without counsel, we're going to take this to trial because.
Not a problem.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Phillips. You're excused at this time.
Thank you, gentlemen.
She is a pro se defendant in court security. Now, Ms. Phillips, you're charged, we're not on the record yet, but Ms. Phillips, you're charged with a tag violation, another form of tag violation,
What?
no liability insurance, and not changing your address. We are set for trial. Are you wanting to have a trial on that, Ms. Phillips, or do you want to try to talk to the county attorney and come to a resolution? What's your plan on this, since you're representing yourself?
I'm sorry. I just assume be done with it. I mean, I can talk to the county attorney. I don't have an issue with that as well. I guess I'm not understanding why you don't have my change of address.
Well,
That
I
was
don't
done
get
over the internet.
Get that. I don't
Okay.
get that. It goes to Topeka Department of Revenue. It's for your
Well,
driver's license.
Yes, well, it was brought in and should have been added to the long time ago when I first got the ticket.
Okay, but it's not like insure. Well, all right, we'll say that. Right now, we are on the record in 2023 TR 3395, State of Kansas versus Tracy Lynn Phillips. Jared Regier appearing for the state. The defendant, Ms. Phillips, appears in person and pro se. Ms. Phillips, I understand that you're wanting to represent yourself on this matter. Is that correct?
Well, I don't have a choice.
Well, you have had the opportunity since November 8th of 23 to either
Yes, ma'am, I
hire an
did.
attorney
To
or
hire an
apply.
attorney. Nobody wants to take my case.
All right. And if you cannot afford an attorney, you've had
It's
the
not
opportunity.
about not affording it. Because I
had
have money to hand to an attorney. Nobody wants to take my case to deal with Butler County, is the
All
problem.
right. The alternative, if you could not afford it, you could have applied for court appointed. Am I correctly understanding you to say, though, that you could afford it, you just couldn't find an attorney to take the case?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
All right. And so you're going to represent yourself today?
Yes, ma'am.
Here's where it gets interesting. The judge walks us through a laundry list of violations: driving with expired tags, insurance issues, failure to update her address, and more. Notice how each count carries both fines and potential jail time, and how prior procedural missteps, like missing court dates, compound the severity. Tracy Phillips's history matters here. As we follow along, watch how these earlier hearings and minor infractions set the stage for her current courtroom strategy. It's a perfect example of how small details in the legal system can snowball.
All right. So what is your wish? Do you want, if he's willing to talk to you and if he's willing to consider a negotiation, are you wanting to do that?
Sure. Yes, ma'am.
Now, Mr. Regier, when I ask you this, I don't mean to suggest you have to, or that there'll be consequences if you don't. But as I said, I just want to afford the defendant the opportunity, but that's subject to if you want to do it. So do you want to take the time, or are you willing to take the time to visit with her, or do you think there's any productive outcome possible from that?
Your Honor, at this time, the state would request clarification from the court whether it is fine that the defendant is representing herself and has appropriately waived her right to counsel. Based off of prior statements made on the record today, there does appear to be, if the court will pardon the conjecture, a certain degree of ambiguity on that point, and the state would be requesting a formal finding on the record, which would appear to be most procedurally appropriate.
All right. Is the officer still there with you, Ms. Phillips?
I am.
Mhm.
Could you provide her with a written waiver of counsel to read?
I can.
Thank you. Let me know when she has that. It's a basically, Ms. Phillips, I believe you'll find it to be a brief written statement for you to look over to make sure that you understand your rights concerning an attorney and that you know them, and that in spite of the rights, you want to waive them and proceed.
Oh, well, I can already tell you, no, I don't want to. I'm not going to do that.
You're not going to waive your right to an attorney?
No, I'm not going to do that.
Then what are you going to do? I don't see an attorney.
No, ma'am, you don't, but that doesn't stop me from speaking with the DA if he is more than willing to.
Well, he doesn't want to do it until he makes sure that you are knowingly waiving your rights.
Because then I'm giving up a right to speak. That makes no sense, Your Honor. Truly.
Independent of whether you
If you
talk to
want-
him
if
or
you-
not.
I'm sorry?
You want it, regardless of whether you talk to him or not, do you want an attorney?
Well, he said himself he didn't want, he wasn't willing to until I signed this waiver,
That's right,
waiving my right. He
because
didn't want to speak to me until then.
if you're going to go out and get an attorney, he has to ethically go through the attorney. And that's why he is following his conscience on the ethical issue
Okay.
and his obligations.
This whole thing is an ethical issue, ma'am.
And now we see Tracy attempting to clarify her situation, claiming she submitted a change of address online. The courtroom drama peaks here. Not because she's technically wrong, but because she's navigating a legal system that has strict procedural rules. The judge maintains composure, pointing out that documents must be properly filed and recognized. For viewers, this is a crucial teaching moment. The law is procedural, not personal. Even valid intentions must follow proper channels. And the court isn't swayed by explanations alone. It's a tense but fascinating power dynamic in
That's on your driver's license?
No, that's not grammatically correct. That is not my given name on my driver's license.
All right. What name did your parents give you?
Tracy Lynn Phillips.
All right. And that's on your birth certificate?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's not the name on your
The
driver's
one the
license?
government created.
That's not the name on your driver's license? Tracy Lynn Phillips
No,
is not
it's
the name?
not. It's not the same one.
All right, what's the name on your driver's license?
Tracy Phillips.
Just Tracy Phillips? They took off
That
the
isn't,
Lynn?
the one on the driver's license is not grammarly correct, ma'am.
All right. How is it not correct?
It's all in capitals.
Oh,
That's
I
not
see.
grammarly correct.
I see. Okay, I see where we're going. All right.
So I need to know, ma'am, am I supposed to put the one that's in all capitals? That's on my driver's license
I want
on
you-
here? And then
I want
sign
you-
it
Miss,
as the entity to Tracy Lynn
I'm ready
Phillips?
to run out of my patience with you. You need to settle
Okay.
down.
I'm
and
just
be
asking a question. I'm
You're-
just asking a
You're
question.
disrupting No, you're not. You're not
I'm
just
not
asking
disrupting
questions.
anything. I simply asked a question.
Look, Miss Phillips, you see that officer sitting next to you?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Do you know I have the authority to tell him to put you into custody until you're ready to cooperate? Now, I don't want to do that, but you're being
I don't-
belligerent and difficult in this court's opinion.
I don't understand what you're wanting from me. I'm really not being difficult.
All
I
right, I
simply
want you to
asked- I
stop
simply asked-
talking for a moment, and I want you to tell me, did you read the form in front of you?
Yes, ma'am, I did read the form.
And you signed the form, no, you haven't signed it because you don't know what
I
name
have
to
it
use.
because I wasn't sure if I'm supposed to, what name am I supposed to add the one that's in capitals?
I want
Or
you to
mine.
sign your legal name.
Tracy's decision to represent herself adds a whole new layer of intrigue. The judge patiently reviews her options, explaining the importance of counsel and the potential pitfalls of going pro se. Yet Tracy insists she can handle it, highlighting her distrust in local attorneys. This is classic sovereign citizen behavior, asserting rights but challenging standard legal procedures. For the audience, it's both fascinating and slightly chaotic. Watch closely as the courtroom navigates this delicate balance. The defendant has autonomy, but the court must ensure a fair trial. Tension and frustration build naturally in these moments.
Not afford an attorney, you could apply and see if one could be appointed. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
And knowing that those two facts, you are waiving your right to counsel and representing yourself today. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to counsel today on the record, both in writing and in oral fashion. Now, with that being said, Mr. Regier, I'll just open it up to whether or not you want to attempt any kind of negotiation with her, or if you want to proceed with the trial that we have scheduled and the witness that you have subpoenaed and appears today.
One moment, Your Honor. Your Honor, at this juncture, what I would tell the court is that for purposes of resolving this case short of trial, if the defendant pleads as charged to all charges, the state would be prepared to recommend non-reporting probation. The state does not have anything further to add at this time. The state would further be recommending, in addition to non-reporting probation, underlying sentences, court costs, and fines.
All right, Ms. Phillips. That's all he's going to say to you. Apparently, he's not going to meet with you privately,
That's fine.
but he is saying that he would recommend non-reporting probation if you plead as charged. So how do you want to proceed?
No,
Do you want to,
I'm sorry.
you want to proceed with your trial then?
Yes, ma'am.
Very well. Are there any
I don't
opening
agree with that.
statements? You don't agree with his offer?
No, ma'am, I don't.
Okay.
I would like to ask the officer if he has video of that day.
2023 TR 3395, State of Kansas versus Tracy Lynn Phillips. All parties appearing as before. Jared Regier for the state. The defendant, Tracy Lynn Phillips, in person and pro se, having signed a waiver of counsel and orally waived right to counsel as well, both on the record. And we are ready to start the bench trial with Master Trooper Kane ready to testify, it looks like. But before he does, any opening statement, Mr. Regier?
Judge, can I say
Yes.
one thing? She took back that.
Go ahead, Deputy.
She took back that waiver, so that makes a difference.
All right, where's your attorney? Who's going to represent you?
We've already discussed that.
Well, you signed a written waiver. What do you mean you take it back? Do you mean you want to proceed with an attorney?
Now we hit the heart of the chaos. Tracy questions whether the court is operating under common law, admiralty law, or statutory law. The judge firmly reasserts statutory law, the law of Kansas, not a fictional realm. This is a perfect example of courtroom logic meeting alternative legal beliefs head-on. It's fascinating because it highlights a common theme in sovereign citizen cases: selective interpretations of the law versus established legal authority. The judge remains calm, professional, and precise, which is exactly what's needed to manage courtroom theatrics without letting the session devolve.
Before that we were going to have the issues today that we're having.
Because I was never allowed to say anything. There were issues, case in point, going to jail twice on a warrant, Mr. Reiger, that wasn't me. Quite obviously.
Is this still the same case that you said initially back in, a couple of years ago, it wasn't you?
Why I was initially here when I saw you the first time? Yes, that most certainly wasn't me. I'm not a 6-foot black man.
Okay. All right, Mr.
Apparently,
Phillips,
that's
we
what
need
it
to get on
says.
with- we
That's
need
what
to
it
get
says on the
with
warrant.
things.
That's what it says on the warrant.
We need to get on with this hearing one way or the other. You have waived your
I'm
right
going
to
to find an
counsel
attorney
now.
then.
Well, you will if I continue this to allow you to do so, because this case has gotten some age on it. It's a
Ma'am, it has.
2023 case.
Yes.
It's a 2023 case. Now, don't talk over me.
To soon be
Stop.
done with it.
Stop. It's a 2023 case, and you failed to appear several times.
No, I did not,
And then-
ma'am. I did not fail to appear.
And we've been through this issue of the attorney for a while now. And by the way, I do show you failed to appear September 4th, 2024, and this is not open to debate or further discussion on that issue. The court's taking judicial notice of its own records. Now, you've had since the first appearance, September 4th, if you'd been here, but we weren't able to get you here until January 8th. And you told us you were going to hire an attorney, but that you were unable to find one, apparently. And there was discussion about you filling out an application for court appointed. So all of this, and that was back in January, and then we were going to come back in March, and we did. And that's when it was set for bench trial. But
Even as Tracy attempts to assert control, the court offers a negotiation route with the prosecutor, essentially mimicking what an attorney might do. The exchange underscores an important principle. The court provides opportunity for resolution, but only within the framework of legal rules. Notice the tension as the prosecutor seeks formal confirmation of Tracy knowingly waiving her right to counsel. For viewers, this illustrates procedural safeguards in action, ensuring the defendant understands the consequences of self-representation. It's a blend of empathy, authority, and procedure that keeps the courtroom both fair and firm.
guilty to speeding.
No.
Well, that's what your record says. And that's what I'm thinking, that maybe you're running the two together. But anyway, Mr.
I
Revere,
never pled on that case.
All right. Well, maybe you were found guilty at trial, but it looks like you
No,
pled.
it never went to trial. Mr. Reiger was supposed to wipe that one and the other one off because it was obvious that it wasn't me. I have never lived in Topeka in my life.
All right.
That's the one you're talking about.
Mr. Revere, I'm ready to go to trial.
Your Honor,
Are you ready?
Your Honor, I believe the court had previously made reference to Butler County 19 TR 1413. The state's records indicate that there was a plea of guilty in 2019 to one count of speeding. And the state, what I would also tell the court is in the current case, actually on the docket today, 23 TR 3395, the state is prepared to proceed to trial.
All right.
And Your Honor, as a preliminary matter, is the court finding that the defendant has revoked her waiver of counsel in light of the statements on the record?
Well, I tell you, we've been all over the board on that, Miss Phillips.
I don't even have the 19.
Miss Phillips,
Yes,
final, this is your final answer that I'm wanting here. We're
Yes,
going
ma'am.
to stick with it. Are you waiving your right to an attorney or
No, ma'am,
are
I'm
you
not.
not?
No,
All
ma'am.
right, now, you said you've talked to attorneys, none of them will take your case in
Yes,
Butler
ma'am.
County. What can you tell me that will be different if I continue this to allow you to find an attorney if none of them will work in Butler County?
I'm going to go across the street and speak with the one attorney that I haven't spoken with, and we'll more than, I'm sorry,
Who will that be?
Gail Jensen.
Does he expect you today?
No, ma'am, he does.
And there you have it. A courtroom drama that's part legal procedure, part human psychology, and entirely captivating. Tracy Phillips navigates her charges, her self-representation, and her legal misunderstandings with energy and determination, but the court maintains order, clarity, and fairness at every step. Key takeaways? Even minor traffic offenses can escalate if procedural rules aren't followed, and representing yourself is fraught with challenges. If you found this case as shocking and fascinating as we did, hit that like button. Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom